Hello and welcome to the SAM Projects 2013 videos. This is the Word4 video. We'll log into the SAM website here and download our start file and our instruction file from the website. Clicking on the activities list, finding the Word4 link, we will see that there are instructions files and enable editing so that this isn't our normal view. In this case we are completing a flyer, and have a few more steps in it than we've seen before. And the other thing I want to do here is get my start file and two support files. Let me get the start file opened, enable editing to make the ribbon visible and allow me to do a save as. So I'm going to make sure my name appears in the footer, and it does. Mine says big red. Your name would be your name there. Do a save as to the desktop or wherever you want to save it, but I always save to the desktop so I remember where it's at. Change the last bit from _1 to _2, and this will be what I'm wanting to submit and save. Okay, now the other thing that I want to get from the website are our two support files. So I will select this first support file, the bench support file, and I'll do save as and save it to the desktop. And I'll also get the recycling globe support file and do save as and put that on the desktop so I know where those are at when I want to come get those later. Okay, so everything is ready to go at this point. So here's my document and here are my instructions. Let's go through and complete this project. Step 1, change the document margins to normal. So the page layout is where we have our margins, and we want normal to be our page margin, so that gives us, I think, 1 inch by 1 inch or whatever the settings are for normal. Change the orientation to portrait. So my orientation, also in the page layout, we have orientation, landscape, and portrait. I can see that landscape's currently selected. I'll choose portrait instead, and I can see that portrait is now selected. And it's also, by just scrolling, I can see that it's in portrait mode, which is up and down tall mode. Landscape is left to right, like the horizon or the landscape. Step 3, change the document theme to celestial and the theme colors to green, which is in the 8th row in the colors palette. So we want to do the theme here, which is in the design tab, and celestial theme is, where is celestial at? There it is. It's in the, in my case, it's in the first column down 4. So I select the celestial theme, and I also want to select the theme colors in my theme colors of green, which I think it said was 8 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. There it is, green. So now I have a nice green theme color for this document. Step 5. We're going to select the text, recycle your e-waste with an exclamation point, and format it in the following ways. Center align, 36-point Arial black, and a fill color of the green accent 1 shadow 1 text effect, which is in the 2nd column at the top. So let's do those 3 things here to our text. First of all, here is the text, recycle your e-waste, including the exclamation point. We want to center, which is in the home tab, center align. We want to change it to 36 point, I mean. 36 point is one of our standard points. We also want to make it Arial black font. And Arial black is a font type. Now I've used mine before, so mine's in the recently used list. If yours isn't, you have to go down the all fonts alphabetical and find Arial black, which is different than Arial. Arial black is a font type. The third thing we're supposed to do is do a text effect on this, and here in our text effect is up here. Oh, that's a shading, sorry. The text effect is here. I get my mouse to hover over it. There we go, text effect. And when I select the text effect, I want to do the this green, fill green, accent 1 shadow, which is there in the top of the 2nd column. Okay. Back to our instructions. We are now on step 5. We want to add a bottom paragraph border to the text, recycle your e-waste, exclamation point, using the following attributes. So we want our border to have aqua accent 5, darker 25 as the font color. It tells us that's the 9th column in the 5th row, and it's 3-point width. So let's see how we do that. I have my paragraph selected, and I want to do an underline feature here, a border feature of an underline. Now, if I have the drop-down list, I can see some of these settings, but and I want to do a bottom border, which is up here. But the problem is my bottom border may not have the settings I want. So I go into Borders and Shading, and in the Borders and Shading, I can specify the font size, which is supposed to be 3-point, and I can specify the font color, which is supposed to be, what was it? The font color was Aqua Accent 5, darker 25%, which is right there. It's next to the last row, next to the last column. And now that I have my 3-point width and my font color, I can come into my document and I can select on the bottom border. If I accidentally select a border, I can just uncheck a place where I don't want it. But make the selection first, then select the border. If you already have a border there, it's okay. Just click over it and it'll use the new color and new width and new style as your border there. And there I have my bottom border with the desired effects. Step 6. Move the insertion point to the left of the text, "Are you feeling?" and insert the picture, support picture for the recycling globe available from the download site. We've already downloaded that onto a desktop. So to the left of "Are you feeling?" insert the picture and then apply square as a text wrap, resize it to 0.83, and then change the paragraph spacing of the paragraph "Are you feeling?" way down, that same paragraph, to 12 points before and after of 18 points. So the before, that's worded poorly, change the before to 12 point and the after to 18 point. So let's do all three of these things to the paragraph "Are you feeling?" So that's this paragraph right here. Okay. So there I have the whole paragraph selected. And again, I can do this a couple ways. I can triple click to get a paragraph. Single click moves the cursor, double click selects a word, and triple click selects an entire paragraph. Or I can just highlight the whole thing. And we're doing those three things. Sorry, and those three things are, first we insert the picture. Insert the picture to the left of this paragraph. Insert the picture with the recycling globe. Okay, so that's now being inserted. Oh, the picture is very, very large here. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to apply the text wrapping of square. And if I see my options here, this very first one I believe is square, and it is. The next thing we're going to do is resize the image proportionally so that and by proportionally it means it's changing both. As I change the height, it's changing the width, it's keeping perspective. 0.83 as my height. So I could just click down to 0.8, and notice I can't do 0.83. It's at the nearest tenths place. So I have to actually type in 0.83. But it makes both of those 0.83. And the last thing I want to do is change the paragraph. So I want to again select the entire paragraph here and change the paragraph spacing, the before and after. Now, the paragraph option in the Home tab is the paragraph group, and if I pull up the dialog box by clicking in the lower right-hand corner, I can see the before and after settings. And the before is 12 and the after is 18 according to the C part of step 6. Okay. So we did our picture, resized it, and put the paragraph in there. Step 7. Format the text. What can you drop off with the following attributes? Change the font size to 15, apply bold and the font case to capitalize each word, and then apply a paragraph shading and a white font color. So let's do this. What can you drop off? There's the text, what can you drop off? And for this text, what can you drop off, we want to do the following things. 15 point. And I don't have 15 as a built-in, so I'll have to manually come in here and type in 15, which is fine. Apply bold to this text, what can you drop off, and capitalize each word. Now, capitalize each word is in my little shortcut list here to the right of the increase and decrease font, capitalize each word. And then I want to do a paragraph shading. Now, shading is not this. This is the highlight. Shading is over here in the paragraph group. And in the shading option, if I pull this down, I want to go over 5 and down 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and select right there. Okay. And then I want to take the font color. So I have this text is still selected, and I want the font color, which is over here in the font group, to be white. And that's this top left one, white background one. Okay, so I think we got through step 7 there. Step 8. Format the text from batteries through plasma as a bulleted list, and they're telling us that this will have 11 items in our list. So let's see, batteries, there's batteries, all the way down through plasma is there. If I make a bulleted list out of this, there should be 11 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes. Move the insertion point to the right of the first bulleted item list after the word car. Okay, and that's the first bullet we just created there. And then insert the picture, the support picture with the bench icon available from the SAM website, which we've already downloaded onto our desktop. Make the following formatting changes to the picture. So we're going to insert the picture after the first bullet, make it 1.8 height by 2.4 width, apply square text wrapping, apply a bevel rectangle as a picture style, and then using smart guides, we're going to move the image to the right edge of the document. So let's do those 4 things now. So we're putting the cursor to the right of the first bullet that ends with car. We're inserting the picture of the bench. Insert picture from the desktop, the support picture bench. And there it is. It's rather large. Again, we're probably going to resize this here. And that's our first step, is to resize this to be 1.8 by 2.4. And that is the correct proportion there, so I don't have to do anything extra special to do those separately. If I want to make those not stay proportional, I have to pull up the dialog box and go in there and adjust them individually. Apply the square text wrapping. Square text wrapping is right there. Apply the bevel rectangle picture style. So with the picture selected in the Format tab, I have these picture styles. If I look at these, the beveled rectangle is, I think it's that one. Is that it? Yes, the beveled rectangle is here. Now, it might be in a different location on your screen depending on how big your window is and what you're looking at. So mine happens to be near the bottom, that beveled rectangle. And then use smart guides to move the image horizontally. So I now want to take this image and I want to move it horizontally. And as I'm moving it, the text is wrapping behind it. And once I get near this right margin, boom, that little green line appears that tells me that I'm lined up on the right margin. And that's what we're talking about with the smart guides. Step 10 has A, B, and C with it as well. Step 10 says this: use the rounded rectangle. That's a shape, and we're going to create a shape that's a ½ an inch tall and a little over 2 inches wide, positioned immediately below the picture that we just got through inserting. Then put square text wrapping for the shape, add text, picture yourself here enjoying a greener world, and then format the text to be bold, small caps, and white font. So let's do that. So going back in here, we want to insert a picture, this specifically, I mean not a picture, a rounded rectangle. So insert the shape, in the shapes group, a rounded rectangle, which is commonly used. It's also here in the rectangles option. So a rounded rectangle, so I select rounded rectangle and then I just paint it under this picture. Now my size isn't exactly right there. I'm going to go in here and manually resize it to be the height of 0.54 is the height, and the width is 237. Actually, I was pretty close, but I'll type it in and be exact because I want to be right, not close. Apply the square text wrapping. There's square, boom. So I now have square text wrapping applied to this, as I can see. Add text to the shape. So I click on the shape and then right click and say add text. My cursor is blinking. It's hard to see there, but the cursor is now blinking. Picture yourself here enjoying a greener world. And that would be nice, sitting there. Oops, with an exclamation point. I'm going to put an exclamation point in there because they have that in the instructions. And then we want to format the text 3 ways. We want to make this text, so I'll select it all. I want to make it bold. I want to make it small caps. Now small caps is not in this list. Small caps, I have to go to the font edit dialog to pull up the small caps option. So that's where the small caps comes from. You get to that dialog box by clicking that lower right hand corner. And then the third thing I want to do is I need to apply white as the font color. Now it looks like it's white, but I'll make sure, actually I can see something else is selected. I'm going to click the white font color option in the upper left hand theme there. And then we've done step 11. I'm sorry, we've done step 10. Now we're on to step 11. Step 11 says, right align the text that begins, do you have, and ends with, take the item, and then format it in bold with 14-point font size, paragraph spacing after to 0. So do you have, and take the item. So there's the text that we're selecting, and we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to right align the text. In the Home tab paragraph group, right align the text. We're also going to format it in bold and 14-point. And we're going to set the paragraph spacing after to 0. Notice there's some space between those paragraphs. We set this paragraph spacing after to 0, and the lines get a little bit closer, and that makes them look a little better. Step 12. Place the insertion point after the text that ends, if we can take the item. Press enter 2 times and then select left align. Then insert a table with 2 columns and 5 rows at that point. Now, I think this is a step that a lot of you are going to watch on the video because you maybe got it wrong when you did your project. And you're like, hey, wait a second, why did I mark this wrong? Let me go back to the video and see what's going on. For those of you that are watching the video for the first time because you missed this step, hello, and welcome to the video for Sam Projects Word 4. Let's talk about what's wrong here. It says to place the cursor. Let's go step through this and I'll show you what's wrong, those of you that are watching the video after having already attempted it. Place the insertion point after the text that ends, if we can take the item. So that would be right here. And if I use this little paragraph symbol show height, I'm going to pop this open and let you just kind of see what we've got at this point. Those symbols tell us our paragraphs. Okay, and I can turn those on and off and toggle them. It says to press the carriage return 2 times. Once, twice, and then left align. Okay. And then it says, after having done that, and I can see here that I've pressed the carriage return twice and I've left align. Now, actually, it's going to mess up by doing this. It needs 1 more carriage return. This is just an error on their part. So I'm going to put that extra carriage return in there because there is a bug in the grading system there. It says press it twice. It really expects there to be 3. Okay, now I'm going to say insert a table 2x4, and we'll see it. For those of you that are already doing this and come back and looking at it, I think if you just go through and put an extra paragraph return at the end of your table there, so you see 2 paragraphs instead of 1, I think you'll be able to get your project to work correctly. You can try that. Okay, but now I'm going to go ahead and work through this. That was the trick. That's what was wrong with your step. I think we fixed it, hopefully. Okay, back to the instructions for those of us that are working through this for the first time. We are on step 12. We just inserted a row with 2 columns and 5 rows. We're on to step 13. Merge the cells in row 1 and then enter the text shown in the table. Remember to mark your calendars what, where, when, and why. What, when, where, and why. So first we merge these 2. So I select them both and right click and say merge the cells. So now that's 1 cell up there. And I type in the text. Remember to mark your calendars, plural, talking to many people. And the what is recycle your e-waste. The when is Saturday, April 21st. The where is Evergreen Park District parking lot. And the why is to recycle electronic waste and keep it out of landfills. Okay, so we've typed in the what, where, what, when, where, and why, and we have done step 13. Step 14 says this: format the table with the following attributes. So we want it to be a table, grid table 4 accent 1 as the table style, and auto fit to window. I think it already looks like it's auto fit to window, but we'll make sure. B says to format the text in column 2 to be bold with green accent 1 darker 50% font color. And C says to format all the text in the table to 16 point. So let's go through those three things. First of all, I want to take the entire table and I want to put it into a grid table 4 accent 1. So I will select the entire table by clicking this icon on the upper left. And I can see I have the whole table selected, and I want to take a table style. So in the context window, I can change the design tab, and I can see my table styles. And if I go down 4, I will see grid table 4, and if I go over 1, I will see grid table 4 accent 1. So I apply that style there. The second step is to take the text in column 2, and here's my text in column 2. I can't, now remember this, the first column's merged, so I can't select column 2 my normal way of clicking on the arrow there. I just have to grab, click and highlight over those column 2 values. And I take the text in column 2 and I format it to be bold, and it's already bold. So I make sure that it's formatted bold. And green accent 1 darker 50 font color. And my font color is right here. And I want to use the green accent 1. Here's green accent 1, the first of the accents. And I go down to darker 50%, which is at the bottom of this list, green accent 1, dark 50%. And the last thing I want to do is I want to format all the text in the table to be 16 point. So again, I will select the entire table and change that font size to 16 point. Okay. This Evergreen Park District parking lot has a wrap there. Now at some point, did the fact that it tell us to do the make sure it fills the table? Yeah, sorry, looking back at step A, it also says to use the table style auto fit window. And again, I'm pretty sure this is already applied, but I'll just make sure. Select the table, I can right context, auto fit to window, and I don't think that did anything. I think by default it was already happened to be set to auto fit to window, but now I'm sure. Okay, that ends step 14. Step 15 says insert a footnote at the end of the first paragraph following the period that ends with the annual e-waste drop-off, and the footnote has the text, in case of rain, the drop-off will be moved inside the Park District warehouse at the same address as noted in the table. Use the southwest entrance, which is clearly marked. So going back to my document, I want to go to the end of the first paragraph, the text, 5th Annual E-Waste Drop-Off, and there it is. So I place the cursor after that text there, after the period there. Now I'm going to, there's actually a little bit of space there. I'm going to place it right after the period. I don't know if that matters or not, but I want it to be right after that period. And then in references, we have insert footnote. And I click that, and it puts the little 1 up there for me automatically, and it comes down here, and I get to type in that text, that little in case of rain. The drop-off will be moved inside the Park District warehouse at the same address as noted in the table. Use the southwest entrance, which will be clearly marked. Period. Okay. Step 16. Add a blank header to the document with the text distributed by the Evergreen Park District, and apply bold formatting and center the header text. So let's come up here to our header, and I can get to the header just by double clicking in the space where the header will be, and it'll pull up to the header and footer design tab. I see the little header is outlined with this underscore lines, and again, this is not flowing text. This appears at the top of each and every page. And you can do some additional settings so that it doesn't appear at every page, only the even pages and the odd pages and so on. It's a header. And the text for this header is distributed by the Evergreen Park District. Okay. And we want to do a couple things. We want to take this text and we want to make it bold. So I will say home font bold, and I will center a line. Home paragraph, center a line. To close this, I can either in the Design tab say Close Header Footer, or I can just double click down into my document and go down into the document to be edited. Step 17. Check the spelling and grammar. There should be at least 2 errors we fix. So let's see what happens. Under Review, there's spelling and grammar. And let's see, batteries is misspelled, so I will change and accept their recommendation. And Wade is misspelled. I will change and accept their recommendation. Get the notification that the grammar spelling is complete. Good to go. I did have 2 errors corrected as I expected. So my document should look like the document shown on the instructions there. And I can see that it does kind of look like it. I see the header, I see the recycle e-waste, I see the picture with the box under the picture, I see the larger font, and for those of you that are going back into this for a grade, most importantly in the Home tab in the paragraph, I've got the 2 page returns there, which are going to be necessary to avoid possibly getting marked off for one of those steps. So this is good. I will save it and submit it for a grade. Come down here, submit for a grade, browse. There's my document on my desktop. Submit. 3 green check marks of approval. Go to the report. Come down to the Word for submission. And let's see how we did. Enable editing. My score at the top is 100 out of 100. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day.